This is a very powerful piece of advice. mRNA is self-explanatory. It's messenger. Stop and think about that for a moment. If you go to every patent in the world with the experiment, first registered by DARPA Biotech, the military, which is also registered G5, that's their registration as well with every radio wave and every phone frequency in the world. In case you don't know, it's controlled by NASA. With a quantum computer in Area 51 Pine Gap, Australia, every line is and every frequency. So when they first registered the experiment, right, is registered on every patent, also by every company that made it, by the food industries, and even by FDA. Every one of them states on every patent, it's an electronic magnetic device. Now, there's been videos coming out all over the world saying it's graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is a conductor. It comes from iodine crystal. Iodine crystal makes graphene oxide, hydroxide gel. So it's a conductor in methamphetamine and all mental disorder tablets. It's also known as a drug delivery system. If you look up graphene oxide drug delivery system, you'll see it with your own two eyes. When you go into the details with this, you realize that this magnetic device is in many products all over the world, mental disorder tablets, 280 different types of ADD, ADHD tablets, all mental disorder tablets, Lyrica, any tablet that will affect your nerves, right? And the nerves that conducts with power. In methamphetamine, you have uppers and downers in ADHD medication. So when you have too much power, they bring you down. When they bring you up, it's when you don't have enough. So it's an electronic magnetic device. It was first researched by Weapon in 1895, used to make the kamikaze, the most evil squad in the world, that was willing to take your life when they were told to, and take their own to do so. Hitler used this with MBK, methylbenzoketone, to create a super army. Okay? And the military has been using it ever since, an electronic magnetic device. Let's take a good look at this. Methamphetamine is the first magic potion here registered by a weapon. It's also a magic potion in biblical history, used like the power of Solomon. I can go into millions of details about this. So it goes all the way back to the days of Nimrod, from the days of Babylon, right? When you build the tower, and the pyramids used this as well, with power, light and energy from another dimension. So that's what these magic potions were used for, was a conduction to different entities in parallel worlds with another dimension that has a personality, that controls the mind with a voice in the mind. Can you cope without drugs right now? Or do you need the drugs? That's because you think mentally and you don't think instinctively. First of all, from 0 to 7, you're a mastermind. A mastermind in a computer game between 3 and 7. And you have superhuman abilities to think outside the mind with that light bulb idea, the outside influence of reality, the picture that tells you 1,000 words. You don't have to think mentally, right? You pump with adrenaline to be alert, like when and you create what we call adrenochrome. And adrenochrome is activated as a crystal. It has the conduction of graphene oxide serum in it. And you naturally create that from 0 to 7, the natural product. So from 0 to 7, when your adrenochrome is activated, that's your crystal, right? How do you use that? A gut feeling survival mode, the very preservation mode that activates these molecules with a shiver in your spine, that's Jacob's ladder. And that's a crystal to be alert, alive, awake and aware with a meth effect. And a child's always in their terrible tools running flat out into nowhere, and masterminding computer games 7 times plus on Allocaine with the outside influence of reality, where he sees the picture 1,000 words, where he is highly intelligent. He doesn't have any mental disorders, gene defects, and none of these things. But then he goes to school, become inverted, and he gets told, "You got boys in you must be talking to yourself." Then you commit your talking to yourself, so you don't have faith in your biological genes to use your natural organic motor skills. But if you master your mind, you can use that in such a way that you can do what Jesus can and more by 24. That's what they suppress from you. That's why they invert you and reverse psychology with a high IQ to make you think you're so very intelligent. And then these molecules die between 7 and 15 years old. And then when they die, you need things to cope with. In a marketing strategy that's in your food and products and everything you consume every single day of your life. Graphene oxide is a metal device, a conductor that gives you the power and energy because you don't have any, because you think psychologically and mentally. That's 5 cents in negative fields. That's a blue pill. So they give you products that you need all the time when you're in stress and anxiety and can't cope in life. And it comes through every single one of these systems in an electronic magnetic device that makes you conduct. So you can form and comply to the voice in your mind. First you decide reverse psychology, so the voice comes in your mind, and you think you're talking to yourself, but you convey feelings to thoughts. Right, in your own biological language, and you think you're talking to yourself, but you're not. It's an outside influence of reality. That's an alien invasion. That's the 5th dimension downwards. That's a voice in the mind, right? That's a personality, because you convey feelings to thoughts and explain in your own biological language. That's what you got to wake up to when you think you're talking to yourself, because you're suppressed and controlled by the devil this way. So they put you in a marketing strategy where you need conductions to conduct. But now you have mental disorders and gene defects and cancer flying through the roof, because you're negative. And they make you consume all the wrong products because you can't conduct to the natural product. Because you're not in your primal state to think instinctively and think outside the mindset you live in. You've got to master your mind, guys. It's a marketing strategy, and now the devil took over the planet. And they conduct you with a graphene oxide so the voice in the mind can control you and take you into massive extinction with those negative fears. That's the harvest. That's the great God's returning for 120 years on a marketing strategy. And it worked. Here you are in the end times. Those that think instinctively, which you now program, and no weapons formed against you can prosper because you think outside the mind and not with the mind. That's the key. Whatever wolf you feed, you have faith in God and you're designed that you were created in His image like a child. Go back to your childhood, think instinctively, and you can do what He can and more. And you think outside the mind with the outside influence of reality to respond 7 times faster than you can think. You see, everybody's possessed by the devil, guys, right? With an electronic magnetic device that Nimrod created from Babylon. That's why Harari stands out there, right, as the architect for the fourth industrial revolution that Obama calls the great prophet, tells you right to your face, mRNA technology, we're creating our own gods, right? Christ the Savior, so the Antichrist. We have the divine power creation distraction, and we're going to do what Hitler tried to create, which he tried to create, what Nimrod was creating. Do you understand that? Or are you still asleep? Perhaps you need to learn to wake up because he's the architect for the WF, and Klaus Schwab says exactly the same thing. We have the divine power creation distraction with the CERN machine. Will she be at the front that got a creation distraction? And then CEO Google, the CEO for the quantum computer for NASA, he just quit because he knows there's something's in the beast. And he knows they're going to create their own God with the divine power creation distraction. Elon Musk says they're going to summon some beasts. Whistleblowers from the CERN machine said they've opened up a portal to another dimension. UFO disclosure all over the world. What are they telling you? Well, the CERN machine's telling you they have a personality with this dimension. It has a personality. So they've opened up a porthole with that personality to perceive the whole world. Right? That's how the darkness come over the planet. And what does the UFO disclosure tell you worldwide? Read the documents. We don't know they're coming from inner space, outer space, or the space in between, because we're just beginning to learn about different dimensions and parallel worlds. Wasn't that warned in the book of Enoch? That they use these powers with magic potions, and they're unfolding that all over the world today. Hitler's plan and Nimrod's plan, Gilgamesh, they're resurrecting Gilgamesh now with progenitor genes to use those tools, and you're not even aware of it. So are you going to be ready for this? Because God gives you a superhuman ability that you don't have when you think instinctively and think outside the mindset you live in. When you have the power in the right place, the principality in the right place, you have the God-given power coming into this world with. And believe me, it's phenomenal. But you want to wake up to this, what's going to be unfolding all over the world in the greatest depopulation in human history, where everyone's psychologically mental and possessed by the devil, because those are the facts. That's why it's an electronic magnetic device. Self-explanatory mRNA. You were brought up with the evolution theory, self-explanatory, come to your own conclusion with reason, to live in your own truth, in your own bubble, with a psychological behavior that don't mix you good at what you do, but in fact not intelligent. And you don't even know it, because you can't think straight, you can't think instinctively, you can only think mentally. That's what you got to wake up to. Think outside the mind, because you're stuck in a reincarnation trap, and you're going to wish you were dead for 1,000 years if you don't wake up, because no one dies. Believe me, you've got to snap out of the mindset you're in, and snap out of amnesia, and wake up to discover who you really are, why you're here, and what the real meaning of life is. Because right now, if you don't wake up to this, you never will.